I have your schedule open here, and just a reminder that you have a gender and number practice on Blackboard that is due by today, Friday, by 11:59 p.m. For tomorrow or for today, your new assignments, you have Exploraciones Gramaticales 2. You're covering definite and indefinite articles, which I will review today. And you should take your quiz on what we've covered this week by Sunday at 5 p.m. And that will be in the quizzes folder on Blackboard. If you look over here, it's going to be on the left side. It's not visible at this moment on my screen, but it will be when you come back. It's going to be under this section. Remember that in Spanish, every noun is either masculino or femenino. And the way that we know is usually by looking at the ending of the word. So, for example, if words end in an O, like libro or muchacho, those are usually going to be masculine words with some exceptions. Words ending with A's are usually femenino. So if you have muchacha or casa, any of those words are going to be feminine. We need to know this because eventually, starting today, we are going to have to decide which article to use, either el or la or los or las for our definite articles. And that will be our lesson for today. So it's important to know, is the word femenino or masculino? Words that end in sion, tad, or dat, those are always going to be femenino, like the word canción or comunidad. Those are femenino. Days of the week and meses del año, months of the year, and nombres de ríos are usually masculine. So if we have the word woman in Espanol is mujer, it ends in an R. It's not an O or an A. It doesn't end in tad or dad. But we know based on the fact that it is a woman that that's going to automatically be femenino. Same with the word señor. It's talking about a man. So that's going to be a masculine word. So usually if it's talking about a woman, like señora, it's going to be femenino. If it's talking about a man, like hombre is another example, that's going to be masculino. Some words do not follow a rule, and you just have to memorize them. Like the word mano, it ends in an O, so that would tell us that it's masculino based on the fact that most words that end in O are, but in this case, it's not. It's la mano. Words that end in pa or ma, like mapa, those are usually going to be masculine. Those come from the Greek origin. And then el país, that's another one. We just have to memorize it. But there is this little formula called snorkels. And what snorkels means is that any word that ends in S, N, O, R, K, E, L, or Z are usually masculine. So if you look at the word lapis, for example, lapis ends with a Z, and it is one of our letters here. And I'll mention snorkels to you throughout the semester that those are usually going to be masculine words. That would help you decide. Remember that all nouns in Spanish have a gender, either masculino or femenino, and some we're just going to have to remember and memorize. In order to make a noun plural in Spanish, if it ends in a vowel, like libro, el libro is going to become los libros. So we're just adding an S to the vowel. La camisa becomes la universidad. So this is when a word ends in a consonant, we will add ES. So if it ends in a vowel, we add S. If it ends in a consonant, we add ES. So we have la universidad becomes las universidades, the ES. For el profesor, what would it become for the plural? Words that end in yon, we are going to add ES. So most words that end in yon have that accent, but when it becomes plural, we're adding the ES to the consonant, but we're losing the accent. So for el avión, what would it become? Words like lápiz and voz, they end in a Z. That Z is going to become a C in the plural. And we're still adding the ES because it ends in a consonant. So la voz becomes las voces with that CES. El lápiz becomes what? And then just remember that in Spanish, you may have heard this before, if there is one male and 100 females or one male and 1,000,000 females, it's going to be all masculine. So if you have dos chicos and tres chicas, we're still going to have cinco chicos. It's all going to be masculine because there's that one, there's in this case two, but if there is even one masculine presence, then the whole sentence becomes masculine. Cuatro gatos and dos gatas. So we have 2 female cats and cuatro gatos. And for male cats, that's going to be seis gatos altogether. It's going to be all masculine. In this section, we will learn about artículos definidos and also artículos indefinidos. So when we say definite article, we're talking about the word the. We're starting at the very beginning here. There are 4 ways to say the in Spanish based on the noun's number and gender. Number just means if it's singular or plural, and gender is if it's masculino or femenino. So for example, if I have a word that's singular and masculino, for example, we could say el perro. To say the dog, it would be el perro. If we want to change it to the dogs, more than one, el is going to become los, and then we're going to add which letter to perro to become plural. Remember, if it ends in a vowel like perro, we're going to add perros. Then if we had a feminine word like la casa, because casa is one, it's singular, we're going to say la to say the house. And how do we determine? We look and see that this word ends in an A, so it's feminine, and that's why we decide to use the la. If we were more than one house, it would become las, the houses, and again, we're going to add an S to our noun because it ends in a vowel. Let's look at some more examples here. Please repeat after me. The winter, el invierno. If we wanted to make el invierno plural, how would we do that? Next, we have the song, la canción. So remember, with this ción, we're going to lose our accent when we make it plural. What is the plural form of la canción? Next, we have la primavera, the spring. If we wanted to make la primavera the springs, how would we do that? The month, el mes, becomes what in the plural to become the months? So remember, el is going to become los, and then we want to change mes to the plural form. Since it ends in a consonant, we want to add our 2 letters there. Los muchachos, the boys. How would we say the boy, just one? Remember, los is the plural form, but the singular is going to be the el. So we want to change it to the boy. The cities, las ciudades. If we wanted to say the city, just one, what would we change las ciudades to? Las muchachas, the girls. Let's make that sentence or that phrase plural or singular. I apologize. So las muchachas, we want to say the girl instead. So words that end in ma, remember those are masculine, even though it's ending in an A here, that's an exception. That's one of our Greek origins. The systems, los sistemas, we want to change it to the system, just one. So remember, if it's los, we're going to go to the singular form of that and make it el, and we want to lose our S on that one. The second part of this is talking about indefinite articles. So indefinite articles is the way that we say a or some. There's 4 ways to say a or some in Spanish. We're still looking at our number, if it's singular or plural, and our gender. So for example, if I wanted to say a, and I had a word like carro, to say a car. Since we know that it's masculine because it ends in an O, we know that we're going to use un. Now we wanted to say some cars. Un carro is a car. Some cars, we're going to say unos carros. We just add our S. Say that we had a word like amiga, a friend, and we wanted to know. We have to look now. We have to see that this ends in an A. We know that it's singular and feminine because of that A. And we're going to add una because we want to say a friend. Same thing down here. If we wanted to say some friends and say that we started out with the word amigas, we know now that we have to use unas because it's singular, it's plural and feminine. So we're always looking at the endings of the words to determine, are they singular, are they plural, are they feminine or masculine? Here's some examples down here. So we have un invierno, a winter. Let's change it to some winters. Una canción, a song. Let's change it to some songs. A spring, una primavera. Let's change that to some springs. Un mes, a month. Let's change that to some months. Unos muchachos, some boys. Let's change that to a boy. So unos is going to become un, and then we want to lose the O because it's now singular. Unas ciudades, some cities. We want to change that to a city. Unas muchachas, some girls. Let's change that to a girl. So remember, unas is going to become una in the singular. And then we have to lose the S since it's now singular. Unos sistemas, some systems. We want to change it to a system in the masculine form. These notes can be found in your notes folder within the first week of class, right on Blackboard. For this section, I would like you to tell me if the following statements are lógicos or no lógicos. And we also used the phrases verdadero or falso in our last class. So you either can tell me lógico or verdadero, or no lógico or falso. So for número uno, we have hay un cuaderno en la mochila. So remember, hay means there is or there are. So is that lógico or no lógico? ¿Verdadero or falso? Número dos, no hay una puerta en la clase. Is that lógico, no lógico, verdadero or falso? Tres, hay una estudiante en la clase. Cuatro, hay 5 libros en el escritorio. Hay papeles en la mesa. En 6, hay una pizarra en la silla. For this last section of the recording today, we will read together from page 17 in your ebook. So if you wanted to bring that up, you can, or you can just read along with me here. So please repeat after me for pronunciation. En Latinoamérica y en España, la educación es un derecho de los niños. Derecho de los niños, it's a right of the children. En estos países, la escuela primaria y la secundaria son obligatorias. En unos países, la preparatoria es también obligatoria. Para satisfacer la demanda, muchas escuelas tienen dos turnos, two shifts. Unos niños asisten a la escuela por la mañana y otros niños asisten por la tarde. So this is similar to what we have talked about in the United States, that in the future we may have to do two shifts of classes because of the threat of what's going on with the pandemic. But this is sort of the tradition already in Latinoamérica and España because hay muchos estudiantes. Por lo general, los libros de texto son gratuitos, free. Pero las familias deben comprar otros útiles escolares. También, en muchos casos, las familias necesitan comprar uniformes porque es común usarlos. So we have los libros de texto. That's an example of the books. Son gratuitos. They are free. Pero las familias deben comprar, they must buy, otros útiles, supplies, escolares para la escuela. También en muchos casos las familias necesitan, they need, the families, las familias, that's an example of our definite article, comprar uniformes para los niños porque es común usarlos. It's common to use them. So what I would like you to do for this last part is answer if these are cierto or falso. So número uno, we have in Latinoamérica, la escuela primaria es obligatoria. So let's look back up there. La escuela primaria es obligatoria. Is that cierto or falso? Número dos, we have todos los niños están en la escuela por la mañana. So they are in school in the morning. Están en la escuela por la mañana. Todos los estudiantes, all of the students. ¿Es cierto o falso? Número 3. ¿Es necesario comprar los libros para la escuela? It's necessary comprar to buy los libros para la escuela. ¿Es cierto o falso? And then número 4. Muchos niños usan uniformes. Many children usan, they use uniformes. ¿Es correcto? ¿Es cierto o falso? This is the end of our Friday class. I hope to see you on Monday in our live session from 12 to 1. Although it is not mandatory for you to attend class, it is most beneficial for you to come if you are not working or you are able to attend so you can get the most out of this class, which will be a quick 6-week class. Muchas gracias, estudiantes. Que pasen buen fin de semana. Have a nice weekend. Adiós.